Salute Knicks Nation. Let's talk about this game as the Knicks drop back to back to start this West Coast trip. And it was a tough loss, 95-105, double digits, as our short-handed New York Knicks couldn't muster up enough offense in this one. But there was fight, there was encouraging signs for most of the game, but they were up against better talent, well-coached team, the Clippers. And on the second night of a back-to-back, the New York Knicks were just completely gassed to end this ball game. Puzzling decisions from Tibbs again, playing an 8-man rotation on the second night of a back-to-back after overtime as well. So we have to get that out of the way. Completely asinine decision in my opinion, and it needs calling out. But the New York Knicks battled in this one. We saw some life from Mikal Bridges offensively, 22 points. Cat, frustrating night, minus 17. The Knicks turned the ball over a ton as well with 15 turnovers, including a back-breaking one late with Josh Hart trying to do a spin move on Kawhi as well. And we'll break it all down, but welcome in late night Knicks family. Tough period coming up, man, as we got word Jalen Brunson is going to miss 2+ weeks, right? 2 weeks at the minimum, but I do think it's going to be a bit more than that, reevaluated in 2 weeks. And I'll tell you why the New York Knicks have put out that timeline as well. It's really important to note that he's going to be reevaluated in 2 weeks because of the swelling, right? When your ankle rolls like that, there's so much swelling, fam, that you have to wait for the swelling to go down in order to determine how you feel. You know, you can't walk on it, you can't run. You're not even going to know how you feel on that ankle until the swelling goes down. So it's not the Knicks being vague, it's not being secretive, it's just they can't, fully evaluate the timetable until the swelling goes down. Your ankle gets swollen like that for a minute, fam, and so we wait to see, JB out. Deuce McBride gets the start tonight. Interesting decision. I thought he would maybe go with Cameron Payne, but I understand the decision to go with Deuce. Deuce does deserve that shot. He definitely deserves it. Would I say that it paid off? I wouldn't say so. 2 of 12. Deuce's strengths isn't playmaking. If he's not making the shots, then it's struggle town. Cameron Payne was a little janky tonight as well, but he is more of a playmaker in my opinion. But Deuce was minus 10. Precious Achiuwa was one of the best Knicks tonight. I thought he looked a lot more energetic. Obviously, he didn't play last night with some hamstring tightness. He was questionable before this game as well. However, we needed his energy, and I thought he should have played more minutes. Cat just didn't look like he had it tonight as well, but did hit 3 of 7 from downtown. But start of the game, man, he lost Zubac on a couple of possessions right under the bucket, and that set the tone for what was going to be a tough night, on the second night of a back-to-back. Welcome in chat, Drew. Yeah, I agree with the Deuce point. The organization, funnily enough, they don't see him as a point guard. They've already put the word that they, look at Deuce as a wing, but he gets the start tonight, and it didn't really work out. Tyler Kolek, we can update you all, has been flown from New York over to the West Coast and will join the team. Now the New York Knicks have a 2-day break. So we play Sacktown on Monday, and that's a must-win. The Milwaukee Bucks are just 2.5 games back of the New York Knicks now after this loss, and we'll talk about the long road ahead, guys. There's only 19 games remaining. As APJI's in the building, salute, guys. The road ahead, we need to talk about weathering this storm because, 19 games remaining. We're basically going to limp over the line, but, there's some positives to possibly falling back into the 5th seed. You might not get home court, but you avoid Boston in the second round, right? But I do think the Knicks will fight like they always do and try to get that 3rd seed. It's just going to be really tough, man. On nights like tonight, you see the coach just is inflexible. too inflexible to trust, the rest of the squad. Um, there's a lot of Knicks family and a big family fan base, content creators, and a lot of people have their opinions, man, on Tibbs. But I really find it hard to make sense of what he's doing with an 8-man rotation, and I really feel like if you're not going to criticize that, then it's kind of being a bit disingenuous, because it just doesn't make much sense to me with guys already tired, banged up, Hart and Cat with knee problems, overtime last night, really hard fought game, and you can't dip further into the rotation. Leon Rose, I don't know if there's some disconnect, but over the years he's gotten certain players and Tibbs just won't go with them. And I don't know why Leon Rose, well, he's got to be thinking, what do I do in terms of getting guys in, and they're not going to even get any minutes. Why did we trade for DeLon Wright, in the Jericho deal? On a night like tonight, he can't even get in there for 5 minutes. Brunson being down. First night we had Beauchamp and Anton Watson suited up as well. They were seated at the front of the bench. I thought they were going to get some time, but they didn't get any time. And Mitch was out tonight with load management, obviously injury management, on the second night of a back-to-back. And so 8-man rotation, man, I just don't understand it. Hart played 45 minutes on the second night of a back-to-back. His knees, right? Our season's hanging by a thread, and he's not keeping the welfare and the health of these players in consideration right now. Bridges 42 minutes as well. Couldn't get a spell, and we gassed out. As predictable as it seems, tonight the Knicks were always going to show fight, but they fell short against a team with more talent. Very admirable loss in terms of, it was a 5-point game with not much time left, and they battled. There was different swings, they went cold. The Clippers were hot early, and then the Clippers went cold, and the Knicks got hot. And then they just, the offense, they just ran out of ideas, I felt. As we see, Mikal was heating up early, hit this big-time 3 in the face of Kawhi. And that's when I felt like the Knicks could have a chance, in this one early. And the Knicks had a 6-point deficit at the half. But the third quarter, excellent third quarter, sprung to life. And Cat started to hit some shots. OG, a late and one in end of the third, kept the Knicks in it. And I thought, it's going to be exciting last quarter. But the Knicks ran out of their gas. What's up, Bob? Got Knicks family in the building. J.I. says, Tibbs taking the joy out of watching my Knicks. Just don't understand this franchise. We have a point guard in Westchester. We don't call him up. We keep losing the same way. It's called insanity. Yeah, I echo what you're saying. I really feel like we should have used more guys tonight. But on the Kolek front, there's some positive signs that Kolek will get an opportunity now with Brunson out. Hopefully they've called up TKO now. They've called him up from Westchester, and he's flying to the West Coast. We found out pre-game. And so he should have been with the team already, in my opinion, and so should Dardier. But at the end of the day, as we see OG hit that big 3 in the third, kept us in it. OG's been playing on another level. He deserves a really big shout out. Really looking forward to the postseason. If we enter the postseason healthy, I really think OG is going to be a big difference maker if he can stay healthy. As we see this pointed out, another play tonight where Hart has just been, I never question Hart's hustle and play. He fought like a madman tonight, but, his skill limitation and his decision making both together is confounding our problems right now. You see Cat battle, get Hart an open look, and you see, look at Hart, Cat's reaction. This is the first time we see Cat show visible frustration to Josh Hart not putting up the shot. and it just stalls the offense. Turnover back to square one. You know, Josh Hart's obviously dealing. Only he knows what kind of physical limitations he's dealing with. He's not going to let out. In terms of what he's dealing with. But it's stuff like that, man. We just can't continue to operate like this. Open looks and just passing it up. Resetting, and the offense is just ugly to watch. Ji, Knicks family as well. Like I said. Bob says we don't have a real number 2 yet. And I think that is where we're at right now. Yeah, I agree with you, Bob. I think, as you guys may not have known, Nikola Jokic, the Joker, has just broken the all-time NBA record with a 30-20-20 game. 30 points, 20 assists, and 20 rebounds in an OT game against Phoenix, fam. History has been broken. The Joker, man, as we're talking about Karl-Anthony Towns, who, ironically has amazing games against the Joker, but in terms of a guy, an engine, a guy who just shows up time and time again, man, Nikola Jokic is just, he's an all-time great, man. He's an all-time great, man. He's on another level. We're kind of privileged to see a player in their prime, doing things like this that may never be done. 30 points, to have 20 assists and 20 rebounds while still putting up 30 is just absolutely incredible, man. But things get worse for Dallas, right? As bad of a situation we're in, guys, I'm just trying to keep the spirits up. But if you're a Dallas fan right now, you've seriously got to be thinking about, pausing your fandom. Because, Dallas once had these two guys, man, in their prime. Jalen Brunson and Luka Doncic, fam. But the sky is a lot more bright for us. But yeah, on Bob's point about not having a number 2, I really feel like Karl-Anthony Towns is, he's a player you can run the offense through. He's got great passing, great shooting, but he's more of a play finisher, we see. He can't create a shot outside of a straight line drive, Now, he's very talented in the post, and I think we should draw up better plays, for our big man. Right now, I think he's having to do a little bit too much in terms of being a mobile big. I think we should just get Cat back to an old-fashioned, kind of the way, Jokic gets used by Dallas, playmaking from the top of the key. But get his behind down low, man. Make playmaking from the post. Pick and roll, pick and pop, and we're not getting the best out of Karl-Anthony Towns. I'm optimistic if we switch up coaching in the future, we will get more out of Karl-Anthony Towns. But right now, we have a Ferrari and we're kind of getting limited mileage, out of that. But yeah, we need another playmaker. Cat's a great play finisher, like I said. AP salute says Cat's not in the position to be mad at Hart for anything. He's the team's best players now. Look, it's just frustration coming out, I think, but clearly there's been stuff spoken about in the huddles and the locker room. If you're open, shoot it. Tibbs even says it. Do what the game dictates. Shoot the shot that the game is giving you. And if you don't do that, you're kind of disrespecting the whole game plan, and the rest of your teammates will get frustrated. We know Hart's not a shooter, but if you're out on the floor and you're wide open, you have to take them, man. Hart's not a great shooter, but he's not Elfrid Payton. He's not Rajon Rondo, He should have been in the gym, getting in rhythm, practicing these threes, knowing that he might get 5 a game. I don't mind Hart taking those if he's practicing. It was just killing the offense tonight. But yeah, Tibbs' read and react offense. You obviously have to react to the read and do what is needed. We gave an honourable shout out to OG. Inefficient tonight, but he rebounded well with 7 offensive rebounds. Bridges, solid game offensively. Finally got to the free throw line 6 times, 6 of 6. Although it was still frustrating. Sometimes he drove in and then he sort of froze like a deer in the headlights. Got caught under the bucket on the baseline without going up strong as well. I think if Bridges can flip the switch and get more aggressive like like we did see tonight, and Bridges get downhill and force contact, if he can get 6 to 10 free throws in the absence of JB, that's going to be some easy buckets, easy points, man. But let us know how you guys feel for the road ahead. The Knicks failed to put up 100 points tonight. Is that going to be a sign of things to come? Do the Knicks have enough offense to win a lot of these games coming up? Fam, 19 games remaining. We're on 40 wins now. Can we win 10 out of the remaining 19 to crack 50 wins? Now, before we get to the rest of your comments, guys, I'll just bring up the road home, right? Now that we got word tonight, officially, Jalen Brunson is going to be reevaluated in 2 weeks. And for everyone just joining us, as I said, I'll tell you why it's the 2 weeks, because the swelling, thankfully the x-rays say negative, no break in any bones. So it's purely now ligament muscle damage. And the MRI will reveal the extent, the grade of the sprain. But we won't know how Brunson feels until the swelling goes down. You can't put weight. You can't run. You can't walk properly with the amount of swelling. And so, yeah, the reevaluation period will be in another 2 weeks when the swelling goes down. So you kind of got to think best case scenario, guys, as we go through the wins and losses for the road home. If Brunson is going to miss three weeks probably at the least, I think that's best case scenario, being reevaluated in 2. I think he's going to miss 3, best case, maybe 4. You could look at it both ways. You could be like, okay, back before the playoffs, just get back before the playoffs. We'll deal with that then, whatever seed we finish, whether it's 6, 5, 4, 3rd seed, just please be healthy before the playoffs. And I think we can breathe a sigh of relief, because I think Jalen Brunson will be back playing before the regular season finishes, right? If we count 2 weeks from today, it's going to be 21st of March. 3 weeks will be Milwaukee, end of March. And so, yeah, he could be back for the second to last week of the season, maybe the last week of the season. Don't rush him back, and we'll deal with it then, man. We are going to make a playoff seed. We're not going to slip into the play-in, right? But I don't know if we're going to finish with 50 wins, fam. And I will say this. This is why I don't play the over-unders with Vegas. The Knicks are caught a break most of this season. Not many of our players have missed significant time. And we were on track for 55, 58 wins. But if you offered me 50 right now, that means we're going to go 10 and 19. Sorry, 10 and 9 over the final 19. Right, that's over 500 without Jalen Brunson. I would take that. I would sign off for that in a heartbeat. AP says Dallas is in real trouble. Yeah, there's word today, fam, from Shams, that he's kind of putting it out there that AD won't return for the rest of the season, and I don't think he should. Bob says we only rely on Brunson, and the defense to stop Brunson creates for others. Seen that tonight. Yeah, Brunson is the oil, but he's the engine, that keeps the offense going. We've got to find better ways. I think Deuce will step up, win us a few games. I think Campaign is going to have to really show his worth as well. But yeah, I'm just upset that Tibbs just ain't trusting more of the bench, you know. So for those that don't know, Tyler Kolek is on his way to the West Coast. So he's gotten called up from the G. So hopefully, you know, he can get an opportunity now, man. Make it. Wouldn't it be a crazy turn of events in our season if Tyler Kolek was to come out of nowhere and make a name for himself, right? You know, I believe in the kid. I believe in the kid, man. He's 22 years old now. All he needs is a shot. You know, we need some playmaking. Deuce is not a playmaker. So yeah, we really need Tyler Kolek with this Brunson absence. Are we going to get anything out of DeLon Wright? You know, if not, cut him, man. Is he going to give Marjon Beauchamp a shot with the final 12 days of his two-way and see if we can convert him to a standard deal? Precious played solid tonight. Mitch, load management. He'll be back for the next game. Mitch did not play tonight. We really, really missed Mitch. I think he could have been a big factor against Zubac. Salute buzzer beater, D Grant, CC. All the loyals, diehards out here tonight on late night, Friday night, early Saturday morning. LB, so wavy, says, yeah, Tyler got called up. Yep. Yeah, I don't blame anyone if they're done with Tibbs, you know. I tweeted this out, but I just think it's completely asinine to go with the 8-man after OT, second night of a back-to-back, man. The guy's got no foresight, you know. He can't think, you know, what's beneficial long-term. I think jeopardizing players' health as well. He's not playing the long game. I said this before, man, we can be dangerous in the playoffs still. I believe that. But we have to get into the playoffs healthy. If we don't get into the playoffs healthy, then we can't be at our best, you know. And that Knicks team that we've seen clicking with the 9-game win streak this season, we are a long way off that, you know. And that was when we were healthy. With Tibbs, man, Dardier, Kolek, somebody needs to be that 9th man coming in. We've got Cat and Hart with tendonitis, man. Yeah, AP's on the same length. I want Tibbs out of here. LB says, at least I won a couple of underslips tonight. Congrats to you, man. AP, yeah, we do have 1 second-round pick this year. It is coming from the Memphis Grizzlies. And so at this stage, it's going to be maybe in the early 50s. But we can always buy another second-rounder as well. Real King, salute, says we might be a first-round exit if Brunson isn't right. Yeah, you know, things are so much as in flux, you know. If you'd asked me a week ago, I was so confident. 3rd seed, you know, Detroit Pistons, it's looking very likely. But right now, we could fall down to 5. We could avoid Boston in the second round if we do finish 5. But, you know, we're going to face Cleveland. D Grant says, CT, they say 2 weeks, but it'll be about 3 to a month. I've been through that myself. Yeah, you know, D, I was saying the same, man, top of the show. I'm trying to temper some expectations for fans because, yeah, JB is not going to be back in 2 weeks, you know. That's when the further evaluation is going to be once swelling does subside as well. But the fact that the x-rays are negative, no bone damage, it's purely down to the grade of the strain. It could be 3, could be 4, could be 5 weeks, but thankfully the playoffs don't start until 5 weeks from now. And so, yeah, we know we start the clock. Hopefully he can heal, man, like he's superhuman. CC says, looking at this play tonight without JB, this road trip's not looking great, man. Yeah, sign Mo Brown. Definitely, you know, we need some bodies, but will Tibbs even play them? That's the frustration for me right now, man. I'm at a loss for words in terms of what's it going to take for Tibbs to play someone else, you know? At this stage, I don't care if it's Kolek, Dardier, Beauchamp, Moses Brown, TJ Warren. I mean, our backs are to the wall right now, and we saw he's not got these players' backs. We saw visible frustration from OG tonight. We saw visible frustration from Cat. The locker room is just going to continue to get a little bit more tense if Tibbs keeps wearing these guys down. The last thing we need is another player to go down, man, and then our season's basically a wash. Our season is hanging by a thread, and we have a madman as a coach that is just, someone needs to set him straight. Yeah, J.I. says, I'm not sure Tibbs gives Kolek much playing time once he gets here as well. Yeah, I mean, you could say Deuce is ahead of him. You could definitely say Campaign is ahead of him in terms of Tibbs's, decision so far. Landry Shamet, has been playing okay. He looks to be ahead of him as well. I think it's just going to be kind of backup, having Kolek up in here. Now, got to give some positives, right? Because the best thing to take out of tonight is Mikal Bridges, 8 of 12, showing a bit more aggression, a bit more assertiveness, getting downhill, running off the curl, 6 free throws, his season high. Isn't that a coincidence? The first game that Brunson is out, Mikal Bridges has his season high in free throws, so that's just going to go up, hopefully. More usage. Hopefully he can find his, a Superman cape, for the playoffs. At the end of the day, it's a tough stretch for the New York Knicks, but there could be some blessings in disguise that come out of this. If you are glass half full, by the time the playoffs come, these other guys, all the roster, top to bottom, is going to have more minutes under their belt, more reps. Hopefully they find something, man. But I would limit Cat's minutes and I would limit Josh Hart's minutes right now. Spread their minutes around, man. It's one thing to lose a lot of ball games, and we're going to lose a lot of ball games, man, in these next 19. Be under no illusion. But we just have to get out alive, man. We have to get out to the other side, and we have to get into the playoffs with health. We have to pick our battles, I think. As in, these back-to-backs, don't run these minutes up. If you're really going to go sell all out for a win, wait for the nights against the Spurs, against Washington, Charlotte, Sacktown next game, Detroit. Pick our battles, try to get, 8 to 10 more wins, try to get to 50 wins and secure a home court, 4th seed. But yeah, more people are going to have to step up, including the coach. CC says they're looking worn down mentally. Look, it was a body blow these last 48 hours. West Coast, back-to-back losses, but losing their captain JB. They would have got the news today that he's out for at least 3 to 4. But I'm sure that mentally, a lot of these guys are strong enough to step up. Deuce has done it before. There's going to have to be some leaders in that locker room to step up. Karl Anthony Towns, I'm looking at you. Right, you are the second star on this team. Right, we need mentally strong Karl Anthony Towns, not fragile. Even if your play is going to be up and down, we need you to stay strong and help lead this team. Because there's a lot of younger guys around him. Deuce, the heads can't drop, man. Brunson's not going to be out all season, man. It's not a season-ending injury. These guys can't, let go of the rope, and undo all of the great work that they did earlier this season, to get us in this position. Now, first round, man, if JB's healthy, I pick us against all of these other teams, Milwaukee, Indiana, Detroit, Miami, Orlando. you know, lick your wounds, get past the first round, and see what we got. Learn a lot about this team, for the off season. Also, we've got some guys playing for contracts. Shamit, we've got Precious Achua, both free agents. They should see more minutes. Campaign playing for a contract as well. Yeah, a lot of reasons to step up. CC says play DeLon or cut him. Yeah, give Beauchamp some run. Yeah. LB So Wavy says we're about to lose Moses Brown too. Then I'm going to lose it. Yeah, I gave my reason why I think the Knicks are sort of holding out a little bit, and this is before the Brunson injury. That could have changed their thinking, but I think the reason they were kind of waiting on Moses Brown or TJ is because it gives them more flexibility to add another guy towards the end of the season. As each passing day goes by, the salary kitty goes up where they can afford a second player. So they might lock in Moses Brown hopefully soon, and then let's say the final week they can cut DeLon, maybe sign TJ. But also, I said this last night. There's a guy out there, a point guard that can score, facilitate, is athletic. His name's Dennis Smith Jr. Now, no, it's a polarizing name, but I mean, look at the situation we're in. Beggars can't be choosers right now. I think if Brunson's going to be out for 4 weeks, I mean, Dennis Smith Jr. is a free agent now, just come across from Real Madrid, hoping to jump onto a playoff team. I would put him ahead of Shamit. I would put him ahead of, Campaign as well. He had some solid play last season with Brooklyn. At the very least would give us some scoring, some depth, some athleticism as well. Let us know what you guys think. You'll have a lot of time, D, to talk about Kevin Durant next season, where the Knicks go to from here. But yeah, a lot of jobs are on the line, people needing to step up. Drew says, personally, I disagree. DSJ stinks. Yeah, there's a lot of people that feel that way. He's an up and down kind of player, streaky, but he's got talent. We need some more talent, on the roster. But I would definitely give a shot to Kolek. Yeah, we had him already at one point, definitely, but that was years ago. He's grown he's matured as a player, as Dennis Smith. Don't forget, we had him when he was in his 3rd year in the league. He was basically almost a rookie. It's Tyler Kolek or nobody. I think Kolek is still young. He's a rookie as well. I've watched a lot of G League. There's a lot of good things, but a lot of bad. Tyler Kolek is not the answer. He could definitely give us some minutes, but he's not the answer right now. We've got 4 weeks. We are going to rely heavily on Deuce and Campaign. But to be honest, guys, my biggest worry is our offense, and points right now. Because without Brunson, think about what the defense is going to be able to do. They're going to zero in on the next best guy. And so Karl Anthony Towns is going to get double the attention. Double the attention, 95 points tonight. That's not going to win any game. I don't care if it was a back-to-back against the Clips. If we played Charlotte tonight, Chicago, you're going to struggle to win a game with 95 points. We could get all the stops in the world, but if we can't put the ball in the cup, we're not going to win any games. Now OG's been battling, defensively. His worth is amazing on this team, but we've really seen his limitations offensively. He has got close to no bag. His OG Anunoby, man. It needs to be said, right? Anytime he puts the ball on the floor, it's as good as a walking turnover. He either blows a tire in the paint, he gets stripped, or he bobbles the ball and loses any momentum and has to pull it back out. and you kind of see why Toronto, weren't, moving heaven and earth to keep him. He wanted a bigger offensive role and the salary, and obviously we gave that to him. But defensively, his worth is definitely justified. But yeah, the two-way monster, supposedly Mikal, is going to have to take on that mantra now, because Cat's up and down. I really think Bridges, this is his opportunity, man, to win the fan base back. I feel everyone that was down on the trade, we could be thinking differently about Bridges in the next 4 weeks. Remember the last season, man, when when Mitchie went down, iHeart stepped up. To the point where people weren't worried about Mitchie anymore. And so Brunson's out. By the time he gets back, we could be talking different about Mikal. We have to. AP says Cat was the guy in Mini, and for years he's got to earn that money now. He does. Yep. You're 100% correct, man. Spot on. Definitely. Guys got to step up. Karl Anthony Towns is earning that bag. But I said this before, man, at the top of the show, Cat is a great play finisher, and he can't create for himself at times. We need a good point guard. We need a good offensive system. Karl Anthony Towns, I saw this stat, man, yesterday. I'm just trying to remember. When he was on Minnesota, he was getting a lot more threes up, 3-point attempts. I can't remember the number exactly and how much it's declined, but obviously Anthony Edwards does draw a lot of attention, and Minnesota's system can get up and down. They had Conley, Naz Reid, good floor spacing. It's a good defense as well. But right now, Cat is kind of like, he sticks out like a sore thumb on this team because there's not as much floor spacing. There's less playmaking. We play at a slower pace as well, and that's due to the coach and the system. And we have less shot creation around it. That's another problem, That's why Bridges has got to step up. And I think Hart needs to handle the ball a little bit less, man. And he needs to pull the trigger when he's open. Real King, without Brunson, man, this team is significantly down on talent, and let this be a lesson to a lot of Brunson doubters, even some Brunson haters right there, thinking that he holds onto the ball too long. And, a lot of people think Brunson stalls the offense and he needs to get the assists up. And all right, well, you enjoy the next 3 to 4 weeks, man, putting up 95 points, man. This team, this roster is not as talented as some people think without Jalen Brunson, man. The guy is one of the best tough shot makers in the league, and he's on our team. And I don't think fans fully have appreciated that. What that man can do at 6'1", 6'2". What Jalen Brunson is able to do, man. It leaves people in awe. And look at Dallas, man. Look what they had. They had these two guys in their prime, man. Not even in their prime, man. With Donnie Nelson out there. They fired him, and look where they are now. But yeah, I'm still really high on the New York Knicks' future because we have Jalen Brunson, We have a great play finisher in Karl Anthony Towns. I think we need one more gravity-pulling, athletic shot creator. And unfortunately, I hate to say this, but I don't think they're on this roster right now, and that's including Bridges. He's just not that alpha. He hasn't got that offensive level bag, I can live with OG and Hart being in the starting lineup because theoretically, if you have a Brunson, a Cat, and one more stud, those guys are just going to fit in, and do the dirty work and rebound, hit open shots, play make. and the defense is going to key in on those other guys. But unfortunately, Brunson's undersized. Karl Anthony Towns needs plays ran, and we don't have another gravity pulling shot maker, fam. It doesn't even need to be a first team All NBA, second team All NBA guy. I can throw some names out there. It could be like a DeMar DeRozan, even. I'm not saying we should get him. I'm not saying he's the solution, but I'm just saying a player of that type, a Zach LaVine type, DeRozan, a gravity pulling, athletic shot creator. Just someone that the defense has to respect so much that they can't just sell out on Brunson. Like last night was disgusting, and I was, emotional in the post game because the way it ended and the injury. But that play in regulation with 10 seconds remaining, and Tibbs' decision to have Hart out there standing next to Brunson so that Hart's man could just come and trap Brunson had me really, really frustrated, out there. Yeah, we need a bona fide 2-3 option, real king, most def. Someone with a real mismatch advantage, whether they've got extreme length and height to shoot over the top, Kevin Durant's of the world, those kind of guys, or a back to the basket dominant center that could play next to Cat, maybe someone offensively minded as well. There's a lot of directions we could go, man. Giannis could be a guy that gets traded. Kevin Durant, the Knicks would have to seriously, do their best to put together a trade package. But look, one thing's for sure, we're going to know that this core, by the end of the season, whether or not they're good enough to win a chip. And a lot of people are going to have to potentially come to terms with the fact that Mikal Bridges might not be part long term. There's still the postseason to come. He could flip the switch. I'm leaving that door open for now. But from what we're seeing right now, if we did lock Mikal Bridges into a $25 to $30 million extension, that is going to leave this team extremely, extremely tight margin to get, even get to the finals, and compete. Right. We're going to have to see the best of Cat and Brunson. And so where I sit, man, next season, it could be a guy like Hart coming off the bench, even. It could be a couple of our rookies get traded for a starting upgrade, just a starting level upgrade. Like perfect world, we still have Dante on this team and Hart comes off the bench, and Dante definitely starts. That makes this team, miles better. Even just a decent starting player like DiVincenzo, and you can put Hart to the bench. I think that raises the team ceiling a hell of a lot. Cat at the 5. It's tough, The way these teams are taking Cat out of the game, it's concerning, And I need to watch some more film from Minnesota, but they were definitely doing a better job at getting Cat in good positions. We are just basically a jump shooting team like tonight, kind of straight line drive, hope that we can draw a foul. Basically fight ball. We were playing fight ball tonight. Basically, we were just selling out, hustling, 5 dudes at the YMCA, trying to create an advantage. But we come up with 95 points in 48 minutes. Now, this is a sign of what we have to do. We have to play faster, fast break transition buckets. But unfortunately, we can't do that with an 8-man rotation. Moving forward, guys. Great outlet pass from Hart. Caught the defense snapping in this one. And that's what's going to get us better looks, fam. This one got precious downhill. And that's something that is one of the small positives with no Brunson. We are going to play at a faster speed, but how much can our legs sustain is going to be something to look out for as well. And also, yeah, Bridges was in his bag, getting downhill, coming off the screens. He needs to shoot 20 times at least, but not shy away from contact. You see here again, he could have gone and finished with the left, but he decided to fade away because of Zubac, right? Even sometimes a smaller player. Here, Bridges sets a really good screen. Guard screens are going to free guys up, and he frees up Cat. So we are going to have to get more creative. Now, I mentioned Cat's 3-point attempts, man. Without Brunson, we have to get Cat 10 3-point attempts, at least, right? He's the best 3-point shooter on the team. And if we want to hope that we can shoot 30, 40 times a game, Cat needs to take at least 10, But yeah, man, hopefully we see some guys step up, Colex on the way. Oliver says, I'm sorry to see you guys lose again, but you guys had a good season. Still a long way to go, but we're in a tough spot right now. Yeah, Drew, I'm definitely on the fire Tibbs. I am. From a respectable level. I respect what he's been able to achieve here. And in his career, I respect what he's been able to do for us, and give us, raise our floor, get us to the postseason, get us to the second round 2 years in a row, get guys buying into defense. But yeah, this year we've changed our identity, and I think that's set us onto a different course, fam. We have different kind of tools now. I don't think Tibbs is best equipped to utilize these tools, and there's a long list of why I think Tibbs isn't that guy. But some of his stubbornness and decision making is at the very top, man. Like 8-man rotation tonight is just completely, dumbfounded. You just had your best player go down for up to 4 weeks, and you play 8 guys tonight on the second night of a back-to-back in overtime. Man, it's just not only that, but they're on the West Coast, so basically their clock is like, for them it's late night, it's earlier, OT, and guys just look so gassed tonight, man. What up, G Money? I saw your comment earlier today as well. Appreciate your thoughts on yesterday's debacle. Keeping your spirits up. And like I said, I think this team can make real noise in the playoffs if we have full health. Mitch has just come back, but I do think we need to play a deeper rotation. Teams like Indiana, Detroit, they're going to run us out of the gym, in a 7-game series if we don't spread our rotation around. Hart doesn't look the same, he's definitely limited right now. OG's playing really well, but he had a nice little break. How long until the little pep wears off for OG could be an issue as well. Our offense is going to struggle without JB. Joker, we shouted that out earlier, the 30-20-20. We're definitely witnessing a historic player live in their prime. In terms of KD, talent, you have to be in the conversations. I wouldn't give up too much, obviously. If the asking price is too much, then I just walk away. But if you could get a Kevin Durant, if you could get in those conversations, you look into it, because we're not far away. We're really, really not far away, man. We're a 55-win team when healthy. You added a Kevin Durant, you have to think Kevin Durant's worth 5 to 8 more wins, Then we're talking about a 60-plus win team. That's a contender. Any way you slice it and dice it, Kevin Durant gives you arguably 10 more wins. Even though he's not the same KD, he's an older version, a different kind of version. But yeah, he adds 5 to 10 more wins on this team. And I think you're dangerous. Boston don't want to see you. Boston don't want to see Brunson, Durant, and Karl Anthony Towns. You obviously would have to start with OG Anunoby's salary in a deal like that. They're going to ask for Deuce McBride, more than likely as well. But yeah, I'm hearing some things from, some people connected to Brooklyn, and they do continue to say that Giannis, the Greek freak, is very much looking at his next destination, and Brooklyn has been reported by many national media outlets that Brooklyn is a destination that does take Giannis's interest for whatever reason. I don't know why, but you could take that with a pinch of salt. But, Giannis is looking at his next destination. The writing is pretty much on the wall with Milwaukee. I think they'll give it one last run this season, but Giannis could be that guy, the next stud, I think, to get loose. Whatever it is, man, I'm not saying we need to just add another bona fide star, but we need more robustness. We need more ruggedness, some defensive stalwarts, some bona fide shot making. Hart's undersized as a wing. Bridges is not a physical lockdown type of wing, and that's our issue right there. OG's having to do too much. Not only are we playing OG as a power forward, not his best suited position in my opinion, but next to him is a 6'4" Josh Hart, who can't space the floor, and Mikal Bridges, who is very durable to his credit, but he does play on the fringes, and he's not a rough rider, if we're being honest. You look at these wings to win in the NBA, you have to be of the elite category of a wing. Look at the Shays, look at the, Jaylen Browns. Those guys are great two-way players. They're upgrades over Bridges right now. So, I mean, a lot of people said that we've taken a step back with Bridges and Leon Rose potentially setting the franchise back a little with that move. I'm kind of leaning towards, that move is definitely the wrong move right now. 5 first. I'm okay with the 5 first if Bridges is as good as advertised, and that's what you're trading for. That's what you hope that you're getting back. A difference maker. But he hasn't been that. Now tonight he got going. Hopefully that's a sign of things to come. But right now he's not even close to worth 5 firsts, man. If you look at what has been given up this just past trade deadline with Luka, I know Anthony Davis was in that deal, but look at the DeAndre Hunter move specifically. I mean, Karis LeVert, 2 seconds, and Georges Niang. I mean, we gave up 5 firsts for Bridges. Right, I would swap Bridges for DeAndre Hunter right now. Right, I don't even have to think twice about it. Right, and all that cost them was Karis LeVert, Niang, and 2 seconds. Right now, so Leon gonna have to take an L on that one, man. Unless Bridges finds a Superman cape. I'll be pleasantly surprised and glad if he does. Maybe this season, something's got to him. Maybe he's dealing with something we don't know about. Whatever it is, man. We need a better version. Yeah. Yeah, with the Tibbs situation, AP, I think, the front office will come to minds, in the postseason. We'll see how it plays out. Yeah, I've seen the comment you made earlier, being a fan of this team for so long. Me personally, 35 years, roughly. I'm 41, so yeah, I started really rooting for the Knicks when I was about 6, 7, in the early 90s finals. And yeah, it's been rough, it's been some rough years, but this kind of thing hurts in a different way because you get closer and you hope, your hope level gets up. In the early 2000s, I kind of knew that it was going to be a little while. The team was just going through it and we had to get out the other side. But right now, we are super talented, but just not talented enough, and that's one of the hardest situations to be in, because the rest of the league is still around getting better. Um, you have to be able to capitalize. Every single trade, every single move you make is significant, man. But also, if you look at it, most teams that win, man, they've drafted a generational type player. Most years you need a top five. You need to have a top five player in the NBA on your team, because usually a top five player is going to lead you, or good enough to lead you to a finals. Whether that's LeBron, Joker, SGA this season, Jason Tatum, Steph Curry. If you don't have a top five player on your team, it's tough to get to the NBA finals. You might be a great team, you might get close. It's either that or you just have to really stack and have 3 top 20 players or 3 top 25 players. Now, yeah, we have Brunson, we have Cat. I think top 25, both of them, definitely. The third guy, then the spotlight, the question turns to that third guy, and the rest of the roster on that. Also, a lot of luck, man. A hell of a lot of luck. Steph Curry fell to the Warriors, and what happened? A dynasty. Jason Tatum slipped. They believed in him. That's fair. Credit to their front office. Jaylen Brown as well. They took a risk and believed in Jaylen Brown, and they drafted those two. That's drafting. With the Cavs, they got LeBron James. They drafted him. SGA, they pulled off one of the biggest fleecings in the world, getting SGA for PG and building through the draft. This man on screen, the Joker in the second round, got extremely lucky, getting to the second round. A lot of luck is involved, but obviously you need a smart front office and these guys, these are the guys that earn their money. I'll say that. A lot of the conversation could be on the roster and Tibbs. I get it, but at the end of the day, the front offices can also win you a championship. They can lose you a championship as well. Look what's happened in Dallas. Am I going to sign Bridges? Right now, man, I need to see more, but obviously, he has to take an extreme discount, for me to be interested in keeping Bridges around, fam. We got Tariq in the building. What's up? Says nobody won that Wolves-Knicks trade. Both teams got worse stats versus results. Yeah, I think the Wolves made that trade more so to get flexibility. They weren't really thinking of Dante and Randall leading them to the chip. I think they were trying to make the sacrifice and take a step back for now, financially. For the Knicks, I think Cat, the ceiling is undetermined for me with Cat. He needs to play the 4. I do think we need to solve our full-time center position and see what that looks like. See what that looks like at the 5. Because we all know, guys, defense wins championships, right? And if one thing we can all agree on, Knicks family, Knicks nation, we have our different opinions and takes. I think there's one thing we can all agree on is that no team is going to win an NBA championship with Cat at the 5. Minnesota already figured that out, and they told everyone, and they signed Rudy Gobert, traded for Rudy, and they gave up 5 first rounds to do that, and a lot of people laughed, a lot of people threw shade, and it got the Timberwolves to the Western Conference Finals. They were like a step away. But yeah, man, my worry is these players kind of getting a little bit older. You know, the knees get a little more rickety, more mileage, and a guy's playing out of position. You know, Hart is really a shooting guard. You know, he's not a three. Um, you know, Bridges, is he physical enough? He's got the skill set. I think he's got finesse. He's got durability that you want. Does he have the skill set? So does he have the ruggedness to be that, that wing stop? OG Anunoby, thankfully he's, young, 26, 27, but he will start to wear down with the extra mileage. I think the window has to be the next 3-4 years. I think by the time OG gets to 30, you might need to sell high on him. I don't know if he's the kind of guy that's going to be, durable enough later in his career. So yeah, a lot of things to be mindful of. I think 2 years from now, Deuce McBride, his contract is going to be up, and the Knicks will have to make a financial decision as well. So yeah, I could see a different version of this team that gets to the finals. Some tweaking. You trade a couple of the pieces and picks and salaries, and you bring in another superstar, but you have to hit on that one. You have to hit on that type of move, right? Like I said, if it's Kevin Durant, your window is very small, your ceiling is high, but you can't give up the farm. If you're going for a Greek freak, you're not going to get a better option than that. You give up the farm, I think, to try to get that. But outside of him, man, even Devin Booker, I'm not convinced about anymore, man. The Knicks have gotten a lot better drafting. I don't think they're the worst by any means. I'll tell you what, man. I know a lot of people have talked about the Quentin Grimes trade. Give me your opinion, fam. Honestly, if you could redo the Bogdanovich, Alec Burks trade for Quentin Grimes, would you keep Quentin Grimes, or would you have done that trade again? To me, that trade made a lot of sense. I'm not crying about making that trade. I'm not crying about not having Quentin Grimes. He would be very handy to still have on this team. I'm not going to lie. But don't forget, he was on the rookie deal, and he's now, the reason he got traded is because he's trying to get paid like quickly. A lot of people are now laughing at the Dallas Mavericks for giving him up, and getting Caleb Martin, but Grimes wanted to get paid, so it was kind of like quickly in that situation. And we maximized our value, man. If Bogey didn't get hurt, we get past Indiana and we get to the Eastern Conference Finals last season. And for me, that makes that trade worth it. It doesn't always work out the way you want it, but to me, that trade was still worth it. Now, Bogdanovich also helped us get, obviously, Mikal Bridges without giving up any other players. So that's still quite polarizing, fam. Drew says, no, I wouldn't redo the Grimes trade as well. Yet you agree. Grimes is meh. And the Bojan move was a win now move on Leon. Yeah. The salary was enough to help us flip for Bridges. Tariq says, rather Giannis over Cat. Knicks got way better in drafting. Yeah, 100%. I think we definitely got some good pieces this year. I like McCullough. I like Huckporty, Kolek. The ceiling is there. You see the upside. The Dardier pick is the one where I'm kind of holding more judgment, because I really think the Knicks had a lot of options. I really wanted us to try to look at Khalil Ware. Ryan Dunn's had a pretty good rookie year, but I like the upside of Dardier. He could be a home run if he turns out to be a real quality starter. I think he could be something. But yeah, the drafting got better from the New York Knicks. I know that for a fact. Yeah, Dallas, man, they're in a worse situation than any team, man. There's seriously Dallas fans just quitting, man. You know, they raised season ticket prices. Imagine having Brunson and Luka just 2 years ago to being where they're now. Kyrie out with an ACL, AD, you know, possibly getting shut for the season. No Luka, no Brunson. Right. That is classic 2000s Knicks, Isaiah Thomas, you know, trading the farm for broken spare parts, man. Steve Francis, Penny Hardaway, Tracy McGrady. I mean, man, these front offices, man, it starts at the top, man. Coaches get all the heat, players get, cussed at on social media. But really, the front office puts these guys in positions, man. They're the chess players, in my opinion, man. Ain't no players play chess. They go out there, they compete, they bounce the ball, they shoot. The front offices are the ones that are playing the chess. They're the chess players right now. They can kill you, they can set you up to win. AP says Quentin Grimes already said he's not coming to the Knicks. Yeah, I mean, we don't have the money to pay him, man. He will get paid, and I think Philly, man, they shouldn't have paid PG. Imagine if Philly didn't use that bag on PG, kept some of that bread to pay Quentin Grimes, and maybe they could afford someone else. You trade Embiid, you get a boatload of picks for Embiid, you got Maxey, you got McCain, you got Grimes, and you got salary space. I think Philly's front office did as bad as Dallas and worse than our front office, 100%. Philly rushed things, man. I know they were trying to get OG. Philly was that team that was trying to get OG from us, but once Leon Rose, backed up the truck, OG had to stay. Tariq says, I like Mikal, but the Knicks thought they were getting MJ. That fleecing is going to hurt the farm or him. Yeah, the farm for him. I think we really should have paid more attention to the season in Brooklyn, A lot of Nets fans were telling us that Bridges has fallen off, And it's kind of like it's true right now, A lot of Knicks fans, and I thought they were just hating. It's only fair to speculate that they're going to hate. Their guy didn't want to stay. We traded for him. But they were right, man. It was a clear decline last season. He had all of last season to run that team, showcase his skill, get all the shots that he wanted, play make. And he didn't have a great season. He had his worst season. And we went and traded for him after that. So it's looking like that has set us back, man. I think we still can recover. Obviously, how much we re-sign him for is going to be key. How much he can improve, but also he could be a handy piece in a bigger trade as well, fam. The problem with Grimes is he wasn't consistent enough as well. I agree, I'm not paying for a guy that has a 40-point game, but then he has, 8 points, and then he has 6 points, and then he has 13, I'm happy paying the bag, but the guy has to be consistent, and you could say OG Anunoby was definitely an overpay, but ain't no one complaining that the guy doesn't turn up. The guy turns up. So, that's not a headache. The guy earns the money. It's all about earning your bag, The Knicks are, in the 90s and 2000s, they did give out a lot of bags to players that just, were a shell of themselves. Dardier has to keep putting in reps. He needs minutes with the G. I hope he sticks around, Because if you look at our roster now, guys, there's two really big success stories that stand out from our draft picks. He's Mitchell Robinson, the longest tenured Nick, from the second round, and he's Deuce McBride, also in the second round, man. Is that a coincidence that we find guys in the second round, but most of our first round picks don't hang around, you know? Grimes didn't hang around. RJ didn't stick around. Quickly, first round, didn't stick around. If Dardier does pan out, he'll buck the trend, because a lot of our first rounders don't stick around, fam. Am I missing someone? Kevin Knox didn't stick around. You know, more of these guys. Porzingis didn't stick around, you know. It's tough to win a championship if all of your lottery picks didn't end up sticking around, you know. At some point, you need one homegrown piece that comes through and ideally sticks around, you know. You can't keep plucking these guys out of the second round and hoping that they're going to be talented enough, I think. And you can't always rely on free agency trades, because then you're giving up all your assets. So, yeah, if Dardier sticks around, not only will it save us a lot of money, but it'll also save us a lot of draft picks and assets that we won't have to give up. But if Dardier doesn't stick around, then, you know, we'll be back to hoping that the rest of our picks can get us another star, you know, in a trade, or, you know, we end up drafting another star in the early 20s, mid 20s, you know. I mean, let's face it, we got lucky with Jalen Brunson, you know. He was the right price, you know, he wasn't overpaid, entering his prime. He wanted to be here, and the Mavericks were stupid. You know, all of those things together, we lucked out big time. Otherwise, you're just in a situation where you got to pay a premium for a guy like Mikal Bridges. You know, and now we're kind of left short. But yeah, man, appreciate you guys all, Knicks family, diehards, Knicks Nation, man. This season is still buzzing. 19 games remaining now. 2 days rest, 3 more in this West Coast trip. The schedule does get easier a little bit, but obviously without Jalen Brunson, man, it's going to be a tough sell to win, you know, 10 of the remaining 19. But for, you know, just for the sake of it, let me go through each game right now and see if I can find 10 wins. And I do think Brunson will return possibly the second last week of the season, maybe the last. But just for the sake of it, let's just say Brunson is out until the playoffs. Let's see how many wins we could get. So next up is Sacramento, right? That is a real chance to win that ball game. No De'Aaron Fox. So that's a game that you have to win. Portland, they're playing really well right now, but you're still a chance to win that one as well. So that's a 50-50. Golden State without Brunson, that's more than likely a loss, man. Miami at home, yeah, there's a chance. So I'm going to say 2 wins. The Spurs on the road, they'll be looking for revenge, but no Wembanyama. I think De'Aaron Fox might sit as well. So can you capitalize? Can you get a win out of that one? Charlotte, let's say we get 1 win out of those 2. That's 3. Then Washington at home, I'll say that's a win. So that's what, 4 wins right there. Then the Dallas, hey, the way Dallas is going, there's a chance we could win that one as well. Dallas, Clippers, Milwaukee, Portland. I'll say there's 1 win within those games, so that's 5. Then you got Philly, Cleveland, April, start of April. Philly, Cleveland, ATL, Phoenix, Boston, Detroit, Cleveland, and Brooklyn. Right, you're going to be lucky to win 2 to 3 of those. So, yeah, guys, it's looking like I'm struggling to find 8 more wins, assuming Brunson doesn't return until the playoffs. So if Brunson returns for the start of April, then we could definitely get 10 more and get to 50 wins. But yeah, that's going to be tough. Yeah, AP, they haven't had that since Patrick Ewing. You know, that speaks to his, his legacy with this ball club. You know, that's why his jersey hangs in the rafters, to carry carry our franchise for that long, through the ups and the downs, He took a lot of hits. Took a lot of shade. He wasn't the most perfect player, He couldn't really play make, but he was exceptional. He had an unstoppable move, which is the post catch fade, and he was a demon defensively. That's all you need. A couple of elite go-to moves that can't be stopped, and be elite defensively. You can carry an organization for a decade. What do I think of Rick Brunson? I think I really like Rick's loyalty to Tibbs. In terms of his coaching X's and O's, I can't really comment. I don't know where his skill set lies with that. But obviously, I admire the way he's prepared JB mentally, physically. Really speak highly of his ability to develop and get Brunson to where he's at. Limited physically and all of that. Just to get him to where he's at right now. But yeah, we could reminisce all day long, man. But yeah, we've got to grit out these wins. We've got to find a way to hold on to a top 4 seed. And it starts with the next game, Sacramento. Guys, let's wrap this thing up. Peace. Big up to the chat. Blessings and health, happiness. And I hope that we can get some joy out of the rest of this season. Or by the season's end, we get lots of joy out of this situation. Brunson might not be out for more than 3 weeks. I think at the earliest. I'm praying. I'm sending good vibes, all of that. And the rest of this West Coast trip, man, I really wanted to be Golden State, man. I'm sick of the Draymond Green, recklessness, talking smack. And I was sick of the Steph Curry celebrations at MSG, all of that hoopla and BS, giving us the good night and, all these social media accounts, Steph Curry's 14-1 at MSG and all this blah, blah BS. I was looking forward to beating Golden State, man, because the Knicks have beat Golden State in their arena 3 out of the last 4 games. Against Steph, right? So all this talk that Steph was owning MSG, but the Knicks had beat Golden State 3 out of the last 4. But obviously now Brunson goes down. That's not likely to happen, fam. But we have to beat Sacramento. Have to find a way, Portland, to get in that game as well. And hopefully, man, we could get to 50 wins. But yeah, prayers up to JB. And we'll be back post-game Monday night. Ladies and gentlemen, peace.